Ladies and gentlemen spoons, it's me again, the Vagrant, showing my workflow from scratch for a new sequence. Subscribe to the channel as this will be a multi-part series because my battery died. Ladies and gentlemen spoons. Here we are, trying to do a live jam, recording a video on my phone using the microphone through the MPC. So I think I need to turn the noise gate off just for the purposes of the video, as that's more for when I've got my volume up. So I'm essentially just going to try and vibe out as though you're not here, to just show my workflow. So to just, first of all, what we've got playing in the background is the sounds of Scarborough South Bay at sunrise. I recorded the audio, well, made a video of sunrise and then just took the audio out of it and bounced it onto a pad, put it into my drum program that I've MIDI mapped, well not MIDI mapped, but I've programmed all the loops that I've curated. Some are 1 bar, some are 4 bars, some are 8 bars, some are 16, and I've just MIDI mapped them in across all 128 pads, and they're all just looping constantly in the background, and so I can unmute any and it'll just give me a loop. So if I do it at the end of the 16, just to get an instant groove going. I can't really hear this all that great because I'm using I can't record the audio that loud while I'm using my phone's audio, but I should be looping this in really, but I got caught in the moment. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to put note repeat on for the fourths, and I'm just going to make sure that it's recording, overdub, and then just hold my kick. I'm just going to let this record in for the full 16 bars, because the plan is that is going to also be depending on how things play out. Couldn't help but put the kick in and the clap even. And I always drop the kick out for the last 4, and I know that these are just going to be sounding intense in there. I'll just quickly grab a compressor, and I don't really know what I'm doing with this, I just wing it, and I can't really tell when it's real quiet. Tell you what I am going to do that. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to find where my sea breeze is. I'm going to put it on a higher filter. bring some bass. See how that just sounds terrible at the moment? Because it's not sidechaining with the kick. I'm going off on one, I'm getting ahead of myself. But I've got something there. Right, so that's going to be our bass line. Nice and simple. Right, so that's our bass. Now we need sidechaining off the kick. So we go into the kick, in the drums, onto mix, find the kick, which is here I believe there, and we with the ducket input, select it. I just took the compressor off the kick, so put it in that place. Take the loops out and turn this clap down. I'm going to put my note repeat back on and just get some hats in there. I should have turned 16 full level off and done these a bit different, so I'm going to do that now. See, they just sound gnarly now. So if I get them, take them right down, I just put a tiny little delay on them. Tiny delay of an 1/8. Take overdub back off, bring them back up. That's some drums, don't do that. Just keep them low because I've got plenty of other hats. Go back on there now. Get this one. That'll do. Turn that off. Yeah, we'll do that. Hey, do you like that? Level up. I'm not recording this bit. It's just possibilities. Oh, it's shitting itself. Struggling. Right, okay, in that case. Now I need to get some leveling done. Okay. Bang. Delay on that, so it just does more than just a bang. Ping pong, pop a wide. Yeah, like that. Okay, so small confession, my battery died at that point in the video, and so I'm now hand holding the phone. I'm coming through my phone's microphone, so everything probably sounds and looks a little bit different. But that is essentially now just part one of me showing my workflow on building a sequence. I'm going to add a few more drum bits and percussion to that, and then each one will be bounced down as a 16-bar loop, and then I can then assign that to a pad and replace one of the template samples that I used in the original drum template when I first got the MPC and had the idea to MIDI map loops into a drum program to allow for 16-bar loops of just constant loops playing in the background. Without access to an arranger on the MPC, it was limiting my functionality for being able to live jam for the purposes of what I want to do with the MPC. So with that in mind, I now each drum pad that I create using a one shot bounce to audio and then assign to one of my pads in my template. So it's a constantly evolving template. And then I have a separate drum kit that I use just on the fly that I'm constantly just adding one hits to, so I can leave the drum program, the loop program, as it is. So that is part one. Part two will be longer. I'll charge my phone and we can delve a little bit into that groove that I was playing with in the bass line. Once we've got the bass sidechained onto that kick, we might use a different kick because we'll only be using the waveform from the kick. We won't actually be using the kick itself. The volume will be turned down. It will just be the trigger to allow for a little bit better control of that outside of it just being triggered whenever the kick actually hits. So we'll add, I'd say, around 6 layers to this. There'll be a bass, there'll be an arpeggiator, there'll be a lead, there'll be some chords, there'll be a string pad, and then we'll add effects to each layer so we can modulate it in real time and then map it to the rest of the controls on the MIDI mix, which will then allow us to have a bit more control. And then we'll also map it onto the iPad for exactly the same purpose, only that'll be for when I do the outdoor jams instead. And we'll be MIDI mapping it using Ableton LK, just MIDI mapping using MIDI Learn and the Bluetooth connectivity to allow for us to be able to control it using that. Worst case scenario, if we have to do it through Wi-Fi to allow for Ableton MIDI clock, we'll create a hotspot on our phone and then just connect both of them to that. Problem solved. All this and more to come in what I have no idea will turn into be a monumental series, because I have no idea, but I'm going to try and use this as a template for my workflow from start to finish, and so you can see a little bit into how I create my 8 layers. I can mute and unmute and automate in real time to create a different vibe every time I play out. So if this sounds like something you could learn a thing or two from, or you'd just like to get a little bit more insight into the workflow onto the MPC, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you hit the notification bell, you will get a notification sliding onto your phone to let you know when I've uploaded new content. I have no idea why I'm just holding the phone and recording the screen doing absolutely nothing, but I have to hold it with 2 hands, otherwise it'll shake like a shitting dog. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching part 1 of my workflow guide for creating a track from scratch, and we will see where this journey takes us. If you've got any questions about what you've seen so far, what you'd like to see in the videos to come in more detail, and what you've enjoyed in the content so far that I've been posting, then please leave comments below. I try and get back to everyone because we're all humans, except you negative ones. You might get ignored. Thanks for watching. The Vagrant, over and out.
When you can't come up with another idea, fuck it, dude. Just make something. Just get up, get in front of your shit, pump it out, baby. No one gives a fuck about your creative integrity. None of it matters. All that matters is that you're here, working, making shit. Yeah. Go ahead and make that shit, baby, go.